So what are the 9 statistics or diagnostics on the DSM5 that categorize a narcissist with narcissistic personality disorder? Many unqualified people are giving diagnoses for a narcissistic personality disorder, and they don't have any authority to do so. They're not licensed professionals. They are not qualified to declare anyone a narcissist with NPD, the disorder itself. Now, I have mentioned in several videos that not every person with narcissistic traits has the NPD disorder. The disorder itself is an on-off switch. You either are or you're not. The narcissistic traits can be on a spectrum, okay? But those people do not have the actual disorder, which renders them pathologically dysfunctional. So let's have a look on the DSM-5 and the criterion set out by the DSM-5, which is the American Diagnostics and Statistics Manual for Mental Illness. Okay, and 5 is the version that we're at currently, as knowledge updates and upgrades and as we learn more about this pathology. So what are the 9 characteristics of a person with narcissistic personality disorder to declare them, to ascertain whether they have the disorder or not? The first sign that a person has NPD is that they have an overinflated sense of self-importance. Now, as you know, in healthy narcissism, which we all should have to a degree, we should feel important enough to speak when something's wrong, important enough to make our voices heard, important enough to take care of our bodies and to look after our well-being and our appearance, important enough to believe that you can make a difference in this world. You have a healthy sense of self-importance. However, the person suffering NPD, their sense of self-importance is extremely over-exaggerated, grandiose, and aggrandized to the point that they feel like they have the only right to have their needs met, the only right to be the most important in the room, and the one who will do it in such a pathological way that they do not care who they infringe upon and whose rights they usurp along the way, and in the process whom they hurt, whom they harm, whom they malign, whom they abuse, whom they trample over to get to their goal. That is a level of self-importance that is pathologized. That is how you know that this person has NPD or is one of the 9 criterion to distinguish or discern that they have NPD. The second diagnostic is a preoccupation with power, beauty, success, wealth, anything of extreme nature. My ex-husband was actually a covert narcissist, and his power was in being extremely humble, which is extremely counterintuitive and actually hilarious, because when you're so superior to everyone else, he would literally brag about how humble he is, which is such a contradiction in and of itself. It's laughable. So his was the opposite way, but it's in extremes. They will hunger over and chase after and go after their goals of beauty, power, success, money, wealth, fame. And of course, in the case of my ex-husband, he would go after extreme sympathy seeking and for people to feel sorry for him and a victimhood. So his power, he found, was in his victimhood. He believed that in spiritually abusing people, he could be seen as the most virtuous of us all, and he would rise above everyone in piety and righteousness and virtuosity, to the point that he would scorn worship, saying that there are people of the right hand and there are al-muqarribun. People of the right hand are the masses of Muslims around the world who need to pray and need to fast, but he is an elite Sufi from a different bracket or echelon where he doesn't need to succumb and he doesn't need to practice Islam the way commoners practice it, because he is of an elevated status of Sufi. So that therefore the prerequisites of Islam do not apply to him. Now, as I've mentioned in number 1, on their journey to power, success, beauty, fame, or extreme piety and virtuosity, they don't care whose credit they steal in the process. They don't care whose backs they trample upon in the process. They don't care who they rob, who they steal, who they cheat, who they lie to, who they manipulate, who they abuse on their way to the top, whatever that top is. It could be the top of Hollywood's A-list. It could be the top of the bank register. It could be the top of Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. Whatever top it is that they're seeking, they're not going to care who they hurt along the way. The third trait on the DSM-5 for narcissistic personality disorder is the feeling of entitlement. The narcissist feels extremely entitled to people's time upon demand, entitled to having all of his or her needs met, entitled to everyone bowing down and sacrificing themselves for his needs, wants, desires, whims, fancies, and anything that they could possibly dream of that they would need in that moment. They feel entitled to butt into people while they are speaking and interrupt the conversation. They feel entitled to take things from you that belong to you. They feel entitled to steamroll through all of your boundaries without any consideration for how you feel and why those boundaries are there and your protection for yourself. They will criticize every single thing in the way of you saying yes to them. They will hate it when you say no. They feel entitled to a yes, an absolute, unequivocal, resounding yes from the depths of your soul. And if it's anything less than that, they will never be happy with you. In fact, they will never be happy with you regardless. But they feel entitled to every single thing that is sacred to you, that you do not want to part with or even should not want to part with as an individual. That keeps you safe from predators, keeps you safe from harm. They feel entitled to that. Your innermost, juiciest secrets. They feel entitled to know everything about you and your past. They feel entitled to hold you up to the law and scrutinize you under the magnifying glass of the law. But they, of course, are not responsible or liable and to be held up to the same moral code as you because they're special. Number 4 is that they can only be around special people or people who can adulate them, glorify them, sing their praises. So these special people are whoever they deem as a success in their area of whatever they view success as. If they view people who are successful as the most beautiful, wealthiest, most famous, then they will hang around those people or try to extract as much value from those people as possible, or name drop a lot or try to associate themselves with those people as much as possible. That's who they want to be around. If you are not on that level, they will make you feel absolutely worthless in their presence and keep talking about how mediocre their company is with you and how they can't wait to meet blah, 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 X, Y, and Z from the echelons that they are seeking to enter or have, companionship from. On the other hand, they seek praise, adulation, glorification from you if you are their supply. If you are not their elite circle of friends or people they wish to have in their circle, then they will only tolerate you if you bow down to them in worship, glorify them, sing their praises, and tell them how awesome and remarkable they are. Number 5 is that they are interpersonally exploitative for their own gain. I once worked in a partnership with a narcissist, and this narcissistic person went behind my back to kill off all of my deals with other clients so that the narcissist could usurp all of my clients. This, of course, was a smear campaign done behind my back. Of course, this was not a romantic relationship. This was a business relationship. But this is what going into business with a narcissist will do to you. They will destroy your reputation, malign you with people who were your biggest fans and customers and clients. They will throw your business under the bus, throw you under the bus, and they will stand on the shoulders and back of your employees and your business, steal all of your clients, and raise and elevate themselves up on the broken back of your old empire. That is how they seek to vampirically deplete you, destroy what you have built, and take it as their own. If they cannot, they will just destroy you. Number 6 is, of course, arrogance. Aren't they the most arrogant people? No one is like them. They're always superior to everyone. No one can beat them. And if you are better than them in any way, they will envy you to the nth degree and they will absolutely hate you. They will despise you, run you down, criticize your efforts, your qualifications, your certifications, your accolades. They will put you down. If they cannot win in one department, they will put you down in the other department. That either call you a loser or ugly or fat, or they'll pick on something as petty as they are. They will pick on something to malign you, to show their superiority, because they're insanely arrogant. On the flip side, of course, as you know, they're also very extremely insecure and unconfident on the inside. But they try to mask all of this with this over-aggrandized sense of self-importance and this arrogance so that nobody would dare suspect that actually inside of them is a frightened little child who's insecure, completely afraid and terrorized by the world, seeking to exact on the world its fury and revenge by acting out as if they are the shit and acting out as if they are the bee's knees. And they can only do this in a very fake it till you make it arrogant kind of way, so that they come across as if they're something. But deep down, those who know them and they know themselves that they are nothing. Number 7, and this is a very obvious and a major one, is that they lack empathy. This lack of empathy is what enables them to trample on the backs of those below them, who they think are beneath them. This lack of empathy makes them feel nothing when they hurt you. This lack of empathy makes them continue to hurt you in the wildest, most destructive and frightening of ways. Their lack of empathy is so dramatic and extreme that they could see a person literally break down and cry, and it would make them happy. They would actually, if they're a man, they would actually sometimes get turned on by it. Even if they're a woman, they would somehow get turned on by the fact that they've broken you down. The fact of you breaking down because of them shows them how much power they have. It actually turns them on and makes them excited about how much they can cause harm to you, because the only way they can self-regulate is by dysregulating your emotional state and condition. So they will, of course, they're only capable of doing this due to their extreme lack of empathy. This lack of empathy prevents them from intimacy and from true vulnerability. Of course, they can fake vulnerability, they can mimic facial expressions, they can mimic and mask and cosplay empathy, but they really cannot show you true empathy and put themselves in your position. And if they do fake it and act as if they understand and they know what you're feeling, it's only to manipulate you and to gaslight you and to make you think that they're on your side and they really are your true friend or soulmate. But the fact is that this dangerous lack of empathy is what enables people or narcissistic personality disorder sufferers or psychopaths or sociopaths or people who are serial killers to actually commit their murders and killing sprees, rape, and all kinds of evil onto people because they do not feel what they feel. They do not have empathy. Number 8 is that they must be admired. If they don't get the admiration from people around them, they feel extremely depressed and sad. They're like an empty balloon who is deflated, and they need this admiration and glorification and adulation and praise and all of this worship in order to inflate themselves. This is what is meant by narcissistic supply. It's like the air in a balloon. Without it, they deflate. With it, they're all puffed up and arrogant and schmoozing around trying to get more and more and more supply because it's never enough. And this admiration must come from everyone at all times. They will never own up to their flaws. They will admire you in the beginning in the love bombing or idealization stage, but they ultimately must be admired regardless if their mask falls off or you really see them for who they are. They must not lose your admiration, or you can fear being discarded and devalued. They will go to any lengths to be admired. They will hire flying monkeys behind your back. They will recruit people from your own family. They will turn people against you with the most heinous of lies. They will get people on their side no matter what it takes, no matter how dirty they have to play. They will drag your name through the mud. If you do not admire them and if you go south and the relationship goes sour, they will make you pay. They will make and turn everyone against you. They must be admired. They will find people, even while you're with them and you're giving them all of the admiration that they crave, it's still never going to be enough because you're dealing with a black hole, which is at the center of a narcissist. They will still find supply on the side to be admired because too much is never enough for them. And number 9 is that they are insanely envious of other people and believe that other people are envious of them. Now they know how untrustworthy they are, so they do not trust anyone because they think that everyone is like them. They are the only person in this world that exists. Everyone else is there for their service, sex, supply, and basically for them to manipulate and use as objects. So if you are not giving them that adoration and validation that they so require, they will hate you. And this will inspire more envy in them against you. If you have anything that they want, anything of value in this world, whether it's riches, fame, popularity, success, with anything in life, whether it's a car, whether it's business, whether it's with the opposite sex, whether it's with marriage, whether it's with children, whether it's with the clothes you wear, whether it's how you look, whether it's whatever, it could be anything, it could be nothing. For very existing, the very fact that you exist and you are happy with yourself irritates them. The very fact that you don't need their validation irritates them. The very fact that they need your validation irritates them and makes them envious of you. So they have a very deep green jealous streak in them, this pathologic envy that makes them always scowl around at other people's blessings, never wish well for them unless it's a very constipated, heavy-chested, restrained and constrained and constricted praise. But they will never really praise people and sincerely mean it because they are terminally insincere. So those are the 9 traits of the narcissist that has NPD disorder. Remember, it's a diagnosis that only a professional can make. But these are the 9 traits present in a person. Now again, even if you find these 9 traits in someone and you're not a licensed professional, you do not have the authority to call this person a narcissist or someone with a disorder, because this is something clinical. And but for the most part, if you are with a person who shows these traits, you need to ask yourself what your next step should be, because you are with someone who will very well be the demise of you. They will kill you in every way without laying a finger on you. If they do beat you up physically, that's one of the mildest ways that they can actually damage you. And that is the scariest part. So with that being said, take care. I hope this has been of benefit. Assalamu alaikum and goodbye.